Hello. Power hour, obviously. Yeah, because Bitcoin took off right after the market closed. Oh, it was coming back down. Thank God. I'm going to say childish. It was. It wasn't paying attention to anything going on. You know? Oh, did you get that? Did you find that filing? Barry's asking about the filing for the 160. What is that, Tom? $1 million. No audio, Tom. Yeah.
Can you hear
You
me
hear
now?
me?
Has nobody been able to hear me this whole time? Hello?
I can't hear you on the stream. No, I can't hear you.
Can
Tom
you
is muted.
hold on?
George is in control.
George is
George is.
not in
I'm in
control.
control. Now you go. Okay, you're back.
I'm back.
I don't know what you did.
I don't know. I don't know. The button's in a weird spot. I don't know how I could have hit that. But, so maybe nobody heard anything that I said so far. So, welcome to the stream. If
Yeah,
I've been
Tom,
muted.
welcome to the stream.
Yeah, I guess I'm the one who's got to be welcomed to the stream.
Welcome, Tom. What's that? Why won't George go on stream with Sue? There's some issues there, you know?
Is that an actual question?
No, it's not, but I just figured I'd put it out there. Hey now.
Hello, Ed, JD, Barry, Steven.
You'll get into the 160 later?
Yep.
Okay.
If I missed anybody, and welcome aboard to Brian. If I was muted when I said that last time, thanks for
Yeah, you were.
joining. Appreciate your support. The newest member of the Talking Investing Squad. I will get some. So somebody asked a question about the $160 million. So
Barry did.
Barry. So I know where that comes from, and I want to spend a little bit of time talking about that. I don't want to lead with that, but yes, and I will tell you, in my opinion, that is a number that came from the S4 filing, but I don't think it's what people think it is, and I'll explain more later, but that I don't believe that's $160 million in long-term debt. So
Did you hear that a lot of stoners like Bitcoin?
no. Is that?
Because there's a lot of hash. Sorry.
This is Bitcoin jokes for, like, who's the audience for that joke?
I'm sure people have said that before. Because there's a lot of hash. I got out of CleanSpark. I made like $1,500 today and got back out. That's the only way I can do it. I'm still always worried that the shoe's going to drop, and I don't know when it's going to drop. Not financial advice. Do your own research, please, because Tom does not have any napkins to give you or Kleenex to say sorry.
We just try to bring the info, but the rest, as you guys know, the actual buying decisions are on you guys.
Yeah, I'm not holding. I won't say that word. I'll probably.
Barry,
I'm not holding beep to your head.
Barry said he was the audience for your joke, George.
Good. Thank you,
He enjoyed
Barry.
the joke.
Thank you. At least somebody did. I'm glad. No, but it's interesting. One of the questions way early was, could Bitcoin run to 28K, the sour melon? It's running to 30K by mid-March. Everybody's remember this. What do you think, Tom?
I think, and I'm hoping it happens on this live stream, but that was just a major jinx.
Thank you, Awakened Soul.
I agree. If you look, this was yesterday at 11 o'clock Eastern time, so wherever you happen to be in the world, you can adjust accordingly. So this was the middle of the day yesterday. We did candle wick above. So this was my price target I've been talking about for the last 90 days. So we did hit this yesterday. Now, we had a big pullback after, but you'll see we've come almost all the way back. And more importantly, we did get back over 25,000 in this candle right here. And that these are 15-minute candles, so that was just an hour ago. We broke 25,000. So I do think we are really testing this line. You know, my line's at 25.2, but I'm call it 25,000. If we can break out to like 25.4 or something like that, I think that will, that's going to clear this hurdle enough to be a true breakout. You know, and as always, looking for.
Talking investing.
Hey, JD. Welcome.
Go CleanSpark, go.
Thanks for the stream, Tom and George. Go CleanSpark. Go Mara.
You don't even say Marathon's name anymore, huh?
Go
Okay,
CleanSpark.
sorry.
Go Marathon. Again, despite popular beliefs, I have no problem with
Darren,
Marathon.
I might get in CleanSpark before the end of the night, by the way. Hey, is anybody on E-Trade? I guess you can trade 24 hours now in E-Trade. Have you heard this?
You can.
Only certain stocks, I mean.
I don't think you can trade any U.S. stocks 24 hours because the aftermarket and pre-market have a set time they close.
Do they?
But you may be able to trade 24 hours a day because you can trade in other markets. You might be able to trade in the FTSE, for instance, or said that one just for you, George.
Goodness.
Right, because markets are always opening and closing. Also, you can trade Bitcoin and all the other cryptocurrencies 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
So just so you know,
365 days a year.
Tom believes we've bottomed. I don't believe we've bottomed. That's the difference between the two. Who's right? I guess time will tell, right, Tom? We got like 6 months to go. I'm thinking we got like about 6 months of some more drama to go before we take off. You know that? So crazy.
Let's see. We got a member comment here. 5-month gang join the Talkin' Investing Squad. It's $5. That's less than a box of Cheez-Its.
Is Cheez-It more than $5 now?
Let me tell you. The grocery store was brutal. I just joined Costco again. I canceled my membership a long time ago because it was such a nightmare to actually be in the store. But I did.
I'm going to type in Publix. I want to know how much it is. I just can't believe that.
Yeah, so and I'll do I haven't done my thing yet. Everybody, if you could. I got an error message. That's new. I pressed the smash the like button, but I got an error message.
Oh, well, I'm sorry.
Error. So just pretend that the smash the like button came up. If you guys can smash the like button, it helps the stream out a lot. It's made a big difference lately in our streams, so very much appreciated. Also, we are now I think 36 members away from 13,000. So anybody out there, if you're not, if you're, I said members, I mean subscribers. If you're not a subscriber, consider subscribing to the channel if you enjoy listening to George and myself and you find any value here at all. Because we're this close. We want to get to 13,000. Then we got to quickly get to 14 because 13 is an unlucky number over here.
Have you heard this statement? This is a junk rally.
A junk rally?
Yes.
I disagree with that statement.
Explain what that statement is, and then tell me why you disagree.
I mean, a junk rally's not going to last. It's all the bottom feeding stuff pumps up, and then the rug pull, and
Yep.
But I don't think that's what's happening. I really don't. And it, I could be wrong. But this is more than, I'm going to the 1 day because, so the rest of my thought here was on the 15-minute. We did get, we tested this line yesterday. We got over 25,000 again today. That's 2 days in a row. And by the way, we haven't been over 25,000 in more than 6 months. It was August 15th, 2022, the last time we were trading above 25,000. So that was a full 6 months in the middle of, so this right here is a 6-month high. But when we go to the 1 day, as we've talked about on the channel, right above this, so look at this bumped right into the bottom of this. There's this gap. There's this gigantic gap that Bitcoin does not trade in. So, I went back here, but I can keep going back. See this right here? These 3 or 4 days, these 2 days, and these 2 days. That in the entire history of Bitcoin, that's the only time it's ever traded in this gap right here. So this is not a range it trades from. So there's a very good chance. That's why I'm saying if we could get up to maybe close a 4-hour candle at, 25,400 maybe, that's jumping this hurdle enough that I think there's the potential to run to, 28 or 28.8. It's not a guarantee, but a lot of times, an awful lot of times, look how this gap got filled on the way down. I mean, these are patterns that happen. So obviously, again, it's not a guarantee, but there is a good chance if we can get through. But you can see this is strong resistance. I mean, this spot right here, that's August 15th, 2022. That's the last time we were here. We haven't even been in this neighborhood ever since. So this is a moment here for Bitcoin. It's got a shot at doing something good. And I'll go back here just to put things in perspective. Oh, we are only hours away now. Yesterday was a fake out. So this is the MACD on the 1 day. I'm just going to spend a minute on this. This is MACD on the 1 day time frame. Yesterday, this was green for a little while. But remember, the 1 day, you got to close the candle to see where it ends. So on the histogram, this ended up in the red, and we did not have a bullish crossover yesterday. Yesterday looked like the day. So this was a big disappointment. But now today, we're only just a few hours away from this daily candle closing, and it looks highly probable that you can see right here if I zoom in, we're going to close the day in the green with a bullish crossover unless, Bitcoin tanks in the next couple hours. Unless I just jinxed it right now. So in the 1 day, you can see these runs on the 1 day, these can be nice runs up. So that, to me, I'm hoping this right here might be enough to give this run right here. We'll see. But I do think 25,000 was my previous price target. We did hit that. So my new price target is 28,800.
Really?
That's my new target. And until something changes, I mean, this seems to be which way the wind is blowing right now. And sometimes that's what it's about,
So you are now calling 28,800.
I'm calling 28,800. Yes.
Wow. You're like one of the only people, Tom.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
I'm following my gut. I feel like that's what's going on here.
Are you using the Fibonacci at all?
We just did a full retracement from the Fibonacci lines that I drew because I started with the high, with the top in August of 2022 down to the bottom in November of 2022.
So would you say that it did follow Fibonacci?
I think the Fibonacci lines on that retracement, they provided some support and resistance along the way. They were helpful. Some of those lines are very near some of my lines. I rarely use the Fibonacci lines. I look at them all the time, but I rarely use them because honestly, you can make the Fibonacci lines say whatever you want. That's my personal feeling. Like I can't manipulate the MACD or the RSI, but I can do whatever time frame I want on the Fibonacci lines, and I see people doing that from different channel to different channel. Like everybody has, whatever Fibonacci lines happen to meet the moment. So Some of you may rely on them greatly, and you may be successful with that. And if it's working for you, far be it from me to tell you not to do it. I'm just saying, for me, it's not an indicator that I put a lot of faith in.
You don't put a lot of faith in it, huh?
I'm just reading.
What are you reading?
Ed says, Fibonacci and wave theory always look like nonsense to me. So, I mean, I don't disagree with you, Ed. This is why I try to never look too much at one. I just focused on the 1 day MACD and we have a bullish crossover, but that's just one thing. So you got to have, in order to increase your conviction on a move, things have to line up. You need 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 things to start to try to tell you the same story. And even that's by far no guarantee, but I will trade off of that at that point. If I've got that many indicators telling me it looks like the next move's up, then, statistically, it's no different than playing cards. You got to go with the numbers. Not that I advocate playing cards for money.
Unless you win. Then it's a different story.
We don't condone that behavior on this channel.
I'm ready to stir something up. What? I have no idea yet.
I might need to find my tech support. All my buttons are broken.
29, then 15, yeah. I was thinking 30 and then 3.
29, then 15. Jeff, welcome. Boo.
29, then 15. That would be funny. Bitcoin would be approximately 88K within a year. Within this year or next year?
I'm all aboard for that.
Me too. Mawson, really lagging. Tom, what do you think?
Mawson? I mean, Mawson had to do a massive restructuring of their business. They did, I think, today or yesterday. Very recently, they just put out their January results, and they're just a different company than they were when, but the first time I did my deep dive on Mawson, they had a certain trajectory, and they were looking to be a Bitcoin mining company first and grow, but they got ahead of their skis, and, they got upside down on their debt, and they've had to drastically change what they do. So I think that they restructured their debt in a way where it looks like they're going to make it to the other side, but they're not going to be what they were going to be, or what they thought they were going to be.
Look at that. Almost down a point, Bitcoin. Who's right now?
Oh, we got a big pullbacks here.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to buy again, guys, just so you know. Barry said we should do a poll. And I agree. Eric said something about CleanSpark. It should be at $5 at 25K. I agree with that statement.
Yeah, $5 or $6. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. I'll go to the CleanSpark.
Let's see if I can if I can time the bottom. That's what I've been trying to do all day.
This is I have, as you guys have probably known, for those of you who have been here before. For those of you who are new, welcome. Please remember to smash the like button. We appreciate it very much. It helps the stream out a lot. And we need, I think, 36 people last time I checked to get to 13,000 subscribers. So I would appreciate anybody here, if you are not yet subscribed. One time.
I can't believe it's 36,000. I mean 36.
It was 36, I believe, that we needed to get to 13. So I feel like we could do that on this stream right now. We could cross Bitcoin 25,000 on the stream today. Let's make the magic happen today. Anyway, my point was, if I had one,
Mawson.
CleanSpark, this is their August. The last time Bitcoin was at $25,000 was over 6 months ago, like we just talked about. And so we are now back to essentially $25,000. So CleanSpark, which has tripled in size, is now they have done some dilution. But if you look at market cap, So some people say, well, they diluted themselves. Dilution only makes up a small percentage of this variance. They need to go up. That's over 100% jump they need to do to get back to where they were the last time Bitcoin was at $25,000. So, you know, you got to balance a lot of different things, and you could say there's been some stock dilution, not enough to account for that, not even close, but there has been some stock dilution. But also, CleanSpark's at 6.6 exahash, and they mined almost 700 Bitcoin last month. So, you know, operationally, they're multiple times the size that they were the last time Bitcoin was here. So why are they half the price in the stock? A lot of these Bitcoin miners, and I think I have an answer to that question for a lot of these miners, and it's what we just talked about. I think people are terrified of this wall right here. This 25,000, whether you have
problem.
Whether you're at 25,000, I'm at 25,200. But somewhere in there, people are terrified. There's a sell wall. And until we break to the... If we can clear the other side of this, that's why I think we'll run.
So do we just need like a 4-hour or a 15-minute? What is...
We need a 4-hour candle at least to close above that. A daily candle would really, you know, be better.
This moved really fast from like 22 to 25. I mean, that was a day.
Yeah, it's been jumping around like crazy. Oh, I want to bring up, yes, I just gotta close the loop because I talked about this like 1,000 times on the channel.
Close the loop, Tom.
And we have finally done it.
What's the loop? He's putting a new line in, guys. Watch out.
Where's a real color? Where's real yellow? What's going on around here? Ah, there we go. The 200-week simple moving average. Look where we are right now. We got above it yesterday. So this is something, if you retrace Bitcoin back to the beginning, it's never spent more than, I think, 3 days in a row. It's only ever been under this line 2 times. It also touched it another time, so that's 3 times. One of the times was during the March 2020 when the world shut down. So, you know, that was a bit of an anomaly. Essentially, this has been rock-solid support for the entire history of Bitcoin. The 2 times it did go below, it flash crashed 30% below, and then immediately within 1 week, came back above this line and never went below it again. This time, we crossed this back in June, and then, you know, we bounced around. After that run in August, we went below the 200-week moving average, and we stayed there for 6 months, right? We've never really... 2 days in a row was like a historical record for Bitcoin. So this is one of the reasons. It's indicators like this why I say, you know, even though people thought we were going to go to a lower Bitcoin number, we've never had a bear market like this. This is statistically, in a lot of ways, this is by far the worst bear market Bitcoin has ever had. And we are only now, so if we can turn this resistance back into support, that would be another reason we could gap up and, you know, get back on track here. So it's early. I'm not calling a bull market. I'm not calling all-time highs. You know, it's still early. We got work to do, but we're on the precipice, in my opinion. And I am...
You heard it right from Tom's mouth to your ears. We're going higher.
The precipice.
I couldn't say.
So thank you to Quartzy for bringing up the 200 and the 150 weekly moving averages. I've been meaning to go through that because I mean, we talked about this for months that, you know, we were trying to catch this thing and we got so far away from it, I stopped talking about it. But we raced all the way back up to it. So if we can get past it, that would be one really big, good indicator. Alex is saying it's just one indicator. The fibs need multiple indicators. The increases of success increases your right time. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I agree with Alex. You got, if you can't use just one thing. It's too, you can draw whatever, you can go find whatever conclusion you want, but when everything starts to line up and stack up, you greatly increase your chances of a successful trade. And of course, there is no guarantees. So, you know, you still may, it may work, it may not work, but it increases your chances a lot. Let's get rid of this line because we discussed it. So I had a dotted line at 22,000 because you can see we quickly turned around. We were above 24,000, turned all the way back around, got down to around 21.4. But, you know, we've taken a nice run. These on the daily candles, this 4 days here, we had 2 big up days. Yesterday we pulled back a little bit, but today we've made all of that ground up. And now we're on the edge. We got to get there. Eric said, Team B, do you think we see 40K this year or next? I think he's asking Team Bitcoin, who said, I just look at the 5-year chart and I'll be taking profits at 40K. Sell half, hodl half. So that is the question. We could put a... So now we need a new... We'll do a quick poll. So 75% of us thought in the last time we did a live stream, we did a poll, are we going to get to 25,000? And 75% of the people said yes. And we officially, although we're not there at the moment, we did get to 25,000.
Yeah.
So that was a yes. So I feel like our subscribers were correct. So now the question is,
I might buy a house in Biloxi. Back, check out this house in Biloxi. Biloxi, Mississippi. Right on the ocean. Yeah. I don't know. We can pretend like it's the ocean. It's the Bay Cove, sorry. But it looked like it has flood damage. But there's mold in this house. Bugs.
all right, poll is up. Simple question. Will Bitcoin get to 29,000? And then I put after that in the next 60 days so that we can quantify it
29?
a little bit here.
Why would you do 29? I want 28.8.
I did 28.8, and then I'm like, that's ridiculous. So if you guys want to count it in your mind as 28.8, you can. But people usually get mad at me when I get too specific on numbers.
For some reason, Tom, I'm waiting to. I got to think about this for a second, because for some reason I think it might. That's what's so crazy about what's going on right now in Bitcoin.
Oh, so you have not voted yet?
No, I have not voted yet. And I'm thinking about it.
You're contemplating what your answer is going to be.
Well, because here, I mean, everything is right now against crypto, right? Everything you hear about crypto sucks.
Lots of scary headlines.
And so when you see all that negativity, that's usually the time that it goes nuts.
That's being a contrarian often works in the market in general and definitely in cryptocurrency, but you know, that's no guarantee either. It's a tough one. Darren said, Tom, I'd like to congratulate you on your very timely entry into Stronghold. Thank you very much. You know, I didn't catch them all, but I did catch Stronghold. So that's had a huge run up. But I did miss Cypher. I missed Iris because I can't buy everything. But thank you. Yes, that was nice.
Let's talk. Can we talk a little bit about your HUT 8 video, Tom? I'm sure everybody wants to talk about it.
We can.
What do you think about the merger? I mean, you think it's good? You think it's bad? I mean, you waiting to make your opinions?
I will tell you. So,
are you? How about this? Let's start this. Are you in HUT and are you buying HUT right now?
I'm in HUT. I did not add to my position.
Okay.
And to me, so what George is talking about, we just had an interview with Sue Ennis from HUT 8. So if you guys haven't seen that, you can go check it out after the live stream. But don't leave the live stream, please. And
Sue is so hot. How many O's? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
seven what?
7 so an S so hot.
Oh, is that a comment?
Is that true that she said something at the end? Was that her OnlyFans page?
That is not her own. Jeff is saying boo, Sue.
Oh,
well,
no, I'm reading what Tim wrote. Come on, boo. Jeff is boo. Jeff's all. And then Jeff's right. No, she's
Jeff,
not
why you
that
gotta be such a hater?
I still my.
I mean, other than
I know. Come on,
other
y'all.
than supermarkets, I feel like Jeff's got some unresolved.
Okay, I'm gonna say this. This is before you give me your comment. I'm gonna say what seems to always happen with any type of mergers is the stockholder gets screwed. They get screwed every single time. Oh, look at what we're doing. Okay, short term. You know, the first 60, 90 days. And then after that, it takes off. But I don't know. I'd go in it after, but I wouldn't go in it before.
I've seen a lot of people say, I will wait for the merger to go through. There's a reverse stock split essentially happening as a part of this. And so I've seen a lot of people say, and just let's see here. Steve just said, I sold my HUT, every single share. You're not alone, Steve. That has been a common theme. And I think a lot of people are getting out. They're expecting it to pull way back, and then they'll reassess and see if they want to get in later. That's why I haven't added any shares. I don't think we have enough information on this. There's an awful lot of questions. Yes, I did do an interview with Sue. I will tell you the comment, if you want some interesting reading, the comments section on that particular video is
No, Sue hot, HUT not.
there.
You guys are too funny.
There's an awful lot of people that are not happy so far with this merger, and I can tell you, I asked a lot of questions. Some of them didn't make it through to the video. So there's nothing, unfortunately, there's nothing I can do about that. They have to, now that they are in the middle of an SEC transaction and they are having, a potential merger, they have a shareholder vote coming. Every single thing they do has to go through legal, and they can't make a misstep, and they're certainly not going to make a misstep on $1 billion deal so that they could talk to Tom at Talkin' Investing. So, I could either put the parts out, and it was the vast majority I was able to keep. And a lot of things, people are mad. It's like, she didn't answer the question. It's like, well, she would be breaking rules, the SEC rules. So everyone's like, oh, you're soft on Sue. And it's like, no, I asked her all the questions. But when she said, and sometimes I laughed because I know when I've asked her a question she can't answer. So, she'll say, I can't answer that. And I laugh because I know that. But I also know that if I don't at least ask the question, everybody's going to say, you didn't ask her any questions. So I'm complaining right now. It's a very small percentage of people. For those of you who liked the video and watched the video, or even if you disagreed with it and don't like it, like, I'm totally fine with that. But there was a lot of
Here's
hate.
Here's a common sense statement that somebody always made to me. Partners are always problems. And they end one of two ways: really good or really bad. And it's you're showing your hand when you say you need a partner. You're saying that I have a problem. There's a problem in my business model because nobody is going to be stronger together when you take 9,000 whatever number of share of a Bitcoin that they have, and they're basically going to lose half of those. I mean, think about it.
You're saying
right?
Because of the fact that they're doing a merger of equals 50-50 stock split, their stack is now half of that belongs to
whoever this guy is, or
incoming
Mike
incoming
Ho.
shareholders.
Is it Mike Ho? I think it is Mike Ho. And so that's my problem I have with it. You don't. There's and
The
that
question is,
throws their
what are they
whole
going to get?
business model. That throws their whole business model out of whack. Number one. Number two is let's look at this. Why would you release something so stupid as this merger the way they have? I'm sorry, you have attorneys and people involved. I wouldn't have done it this way, Tom. I would never have done it this way. So, which brings me up to my third point. There must be a reason why they're doing it that way. So I think they want the price to go down. That's what I think. I think they want the price to go down so they can get a good entry point.
I don't know what the answer to that is. I mean, they take these steps in multiple pages.
And here's what we don't know anything. That's a very good point, Stephen. We don't know anything about the other company, right?
We don't know enough about the other company.
So I have to assume their Bitcoin holding is 0. Because wouldn't that be the first thing you'd rate on the freaking page?
I would assume that it's 0, and I would assume they have some debt. Now, Alex is telling me, Alex Bridges is saying the S4 filing is on their webpage now, 300-plus page document with the US BTC balance sheet info. So I saw, and let me know, Alex, if there's more than this.
Yeah.
I saw a
You're right,
summary of their balance sheet. So in other words, it was, total assets, total liabilities, equity, but I did not see a breakdown of, I'll circle back around to the very first question from the whole live stream. What's the $160 million? When I looked, I didn't see the answer to that. All I saw was, so their total liabilities as a company are $160 million. But that does not mean long-term debt. So there's all different types of liabilities. A lot of them are paper numbers only, and they're non-cash items, and they never really get paid, or they get paid over the course of time where they're offset. A lot of liabilities now, and I'm sorry, I'm going to get accounting for 1 second, and then I'll stop. They changed a lot of the accounting rules. So there's a lot of things that are now on a balance sheet, and it's what's called a gross up. So they'll make you put $100 million of liabilities, but then they'll let you put $100 million of assets to offset it, because they're things that happen in the future that used to be in the footnotes, not in the actual financial statements themselves. So when you look at somebody's total liabilities, it can be exceptionally misleading. They may have no long-term debt for all I know. I know they have $160 million in total liabilities. Don't know what those are. And if maybe you're saying now there's more information on their website, I checked this morning and looked, and it was just the summary. So if there is more, if there's what we need to see, and that is going to answer a lot of these questions. And that's kind of how I ended the interview was, listen, we just don't have enough information yet. That is my very strong sense. If I see a detailed breakdown of their balance sheet and their income statement and their footnotes to their financial statements, that's going to help me a lot decide, because everybody's big question, and it's the right question, why is this a merger of equals? We know what Hut 8 is bringing to the table. What are these other guys bringing to the table that makes this a merger of equals? I mean, that's a fair question, and I don't have an answer to it, and that's why I'm not going to add to my position. But I don't, there may be a really good answer to that for all I know.
Yeah, there has to be a energy problem. There has to be, and I think that's Barry hit it on the head. I think there is definitely some type of energy problem, and I think that they're making decisions based on not strategic decisions for the best of their company long term, because they know they screwed up with this power thing.
So Awkward Soul said, Tom, you are so shady with Hut.
Shady.
So we'll take a poll on that next. Am I shady? Do you
What's
guys
the poll
think I'm
looking like?
Shady?
I think you're shady, Tom.
Am I?
I don't. You know what? I will give you this, Tom. Let's get one more vote over here on this Bitcoin to 29 in the next 60 days. I will tell you one thing. Tom's not shady, because you want to know why? I said so. Tom, this is how, because the deal right now is kind of shady, because we don't know enough information about Hut. We don't know enough information about New Hut. We don't know enough information about U.S. miners. I mean, so the people that, can dump us the information that we're not supposed to have, please do that, and just send it to my email.
Right. I don't know if I'm going to like this deal, and I've said that like on 5 different live streams now. I've been crystal clear. Like I'm still undecided on this deal. I think there's the potential that these guys bring a part of the equation that Hut 8 is missing, and together they may be a force. There also may be the potential that they're overpaying. Here's what I will say. While they're calling this a merger of equals, and technically, it is a merger of equals, Hut 8 is buying this company. That's what's happening in effect, right? I mean, substance over form. Hut 8's buying this company. The question is, are they overpaying for it? They're not buying it with cash. They're buying it with stock. And are they overpaying for it? And I don't know the answer to that yet. So that's the real question. I mean, everything else is in the details, and the details will tell us what the answer to that question is. So I want more information. We need more information.
Is it wrong to? I can't even answer the question. Is it wrong to have a dress attire before people are on the stream that you interview, or no? Just asking. Friend wants to know.
Proper dress attire? I don't set any dress code on my streams. I'll tell you that.
Just curious.
It's all are welcome within reason. Stephen English said, "Tom's not shady. It's just the lighting." Thanks, Stephen.
So Tom, Cleanspark, what machines did they buy? Do you know?
They bought the S19J Plus. So they didn't, in their press release, they didn't say the specs of that, but it looks like that. What did they say? 20,000 of those machines, am I remembering right, is going to get them 2.4 exahash. Yeah. So, you can do the math from there. And they got them for pennies on the dollar. I mean, they paid $13.25 per terahash, I think, which is a deep discount versus what people were buying these machines for a year ago and a year and a half ago. And that's when most of these purchase orders went through. And I will tell you, most of these companies renegotiated those purchase orders because they simply could not afford to pay the exorbitant prices that they agreed to. So it was either default on them or come up with a new price or payment method or reduction in the amount they're going to buy. So there's been a lot of renegotiating going on. But what I like about Cleanspark is they seem to be very opportunistic. They're getting deals at great prices, in my opinion. So, that's just my opinion. I like what Cleanspark is doing. Some people, as I can see from the comments, some people strenuously disagree with me.
I have a question. When do you interview Matt?
Oh, we haven't picked a date. It should be next week. And and that won't have to go through the thing we just went through with Hut 8. That does not have to go through legal and all that stuff. So are you
going to interview Holmes, or no? You just no reason to?
We did a poll yesterday, and 67% of the people said yes, they would be interested in an interview with Frank Holmes and Iden, who is the new CEO at Hive. So you can just drop your comments if you guys want that or don't want it.
Woo!
Jeff said the 19JS Pro plus Super Plus Extra Strong. Those are the machines they bought. I believe that's the technical term for them.
Cleanspark 338. Come on, baby. One time. I want to get it for 330.
JD said the plus means it's extra good. That's right. It's not the regular ones. It's the plus.
I heard it's the Mountain Dew machine.
It's not the Mountain Dew machine.
How's Any doing, by the way?
Any put out a release, I think today. They mined, I think, 37 Bitcoin, but
nice.
They have received, I think, all of their machines now. So They are still working on hosting agreements to get them set up, but they're going to be at 1.6 exahash. If they execute based on the plan that they've said, they're going to be at 1.6 exahash sometime in maybe March or April. And to me, that is a gigantic turnaround for them. They are now have a healthy balance sheet. They're actually mining Bitcoin versus the ridiculous nonsense they were talking about a year and a half ago with the Mountain Dew machine. And, you know, they put out a press release. They were going to be at 32.4 exahash by now. So I think pretty much nobody believed that when it came out. And obviously that ended up not happening. But new management, new CEO, new business model. I don't own that stock, but I do like what they're doing. I mean, it's obviously on a much, much smaller scale than what they were talking about initially, but I like what they're doing.
Stronghold and Any are pretty close. So Stronghold's 27.8 and Any is 34. How is Any bigger than Stronghold?
Any's market cap is 34 million.
Yeah.
Any, I don't know. I like, if I had to pick between the two, which I did pick between the two because I do own some Stronghold and I don't own any. But I do like Any. It's not that I dislike them. It's just you can't own everything. And so that's the one I picked.
Really? Tell that to BlackRock.
Jeff is saying, Bill hates CleanSpark as much as I love Marathon. Jeff, you hate Marathon. You are on record as being the president of the I Hate Marathon Club. Jeff also said CleanSpark number 2 miner hands down.
Would you still short these or no?
I short the Bitcoin miners?
Yeah.
I have no, I've never shorted the Bitcoin miners. Sometimes I will buy put options on them or sell call options, but I wouldn't. These stocks are volatile. To me, shorting these is a potential nightmare.
That's just insane.
Let's see. Some people don't like Rob Chang. We're getting some very
Who is
negative
Rob Chang?
commentary on that. I'm just going to stay away from that. Stronghold can only grow so much, said Barry. I mean, their growth has slowed down drastically. They're another one that had to completely reorganize their entire organization and the way they conduct business. But they modified half their debt, and now they modified the other half their debt, and all of a sudden, to me, they look like a company that is going to make it versus a company that was in deep, deep trouble financially, in my opinion, just from a liquidity standpoint.
Look at that plummet coming, guys.
It's Bitcoin's on the way down. That's not what we're looking for.
I'm looking for that right now. Sorry, guys. This makes me happy.
Sourmelon Gaming saying Bitcoin at $1 is a joke, not financial advice.
No, you said Bitcoin.
Bitfarms, sorry, Bitfarms at $1 is a joke.
You're such a boomer. Boomer.
You know, I'm not a boomer. Not that
so
there's
what's
anything
the
wrong
strategy
with that.
next week, Tom?
We're going to have to see how the weekend goes. I mean, I will tell you, I really do think we're going to cross over 25,000.
As Tom's talking, the line's going down and down and down.
And it might. We've got this green line here that held.
What's that green line?
23,200.
Come on, 23.
This held. And we might revisit that. And if we revisit that and go below it, then I will have guessed wrong, I suppose. But I think we're ultimately moving. Our momentum continues, in my opinion. If we go to the 1 day, I mean, I think we've regained our momentum.
Tom had to get off that page. It's like, I can't leave this here.
Look, green. See, big green candles. Big green candles. And again, we're close enough to the end of this green candle that it... Right. Thank you, Papa D. What do you think about GREE? It never runs like Marathon. So, I mean, Gree and Marathon are super different companies, but Gree did have. I'm going to pull up Gree because their market cap is tiny. But they've had.
$27 million.
Yeah, that's tiny. Marathon's like 900 and something $million.
Oh, okay.
So I think they're, despite the fact that, so we'll pull that up. So let's see how far they are off of their bottom. Because these things don't look like a lot, but that's 178% move to the upside. At one point, it was a 545%. This is all in the last month and a half, 2 months. So, you know, this has been fluctuating. It has pulled back quite a bit. There's no doubt. This is one I would take a second look at because I mentioned on the live stream here and then again here that I missed the run and I just wasn't going to chase it. But this is a, you know, from the top.
24,383.
That's over a 55% pullback. So, and it's a small market cap. These nano cap stocks, they always have the potential to have monster runs, right? Because if you're a $20 million market cap, you can 5x and you're still only a $100 million market cap, right? You're still 1/9 or 1/10 of what Marathon and Riot are. So, you know, there's always potential there to get big run-ups. Jeff said nothing runs like Marathon. Qwerty said Carl Lewis runs like Marathon. Shout out to Carl Lewis, former Olympic gold medalist.
That is, Ray has a question, Tom. He says he's apologizing ahead of time. Do you think the U.S. will ban Bitcoin mining like the Chinese government? I don't think that's a dumb question. I actually think that's a good question.
No, there's a lot, especially given a lot of the headlines lately. And, you know, the SEC just did a thing that I'm going to make a video about. And I don't even really think they did a thing, but they did a thing. My answer to that is a resounding no. I do not believe there's any chance that the U.S. government will ban Bitcoin mining. I can't say zero because I guess anything is possible, but I think that is so unbelievably unlikely that it's nothing I would ever lose sleep over or even consider in my decision-making process. There are certain states in this country that are extremely Bitcoin miner friendly. And
like not New York.
Not New York. Not
Texas,
New York.
Georgia, Florida, pretty much.
Right. And some other ones out and flyover country are
friendly also.
Bitcoin friendly. So there's too much momentum here for the federal government to come in. And that would be one of the surprises of my lifetime. That's what I would say. If that happens, that would be a absolute shock to me. So, you know, obviously, again, I don't know. I have no more information than you guys do. So anything can happen. But to me, that's is almost unfathomable.
Well, I'll tell you what. I think that with the current way our government is, nothing is off the table right now, unfortunately. I mean, look, they're trying to ban all of crypto on the exchanges. So, I mean, you can't rule out anything at this point in time because I'm going to be honest with you guys. They're just trying to protect you from losing money. Just going to bring it real. They care about you.
With a straight face. You made it through that whole thing with a straight face.
What?
That was impressive.
I mean, I'm sorry, Tom. This is where you and I might differ a little bit. I mean, the SEC, Gary Gensler, cares about the average investor, and he's doing everything he can to make sure there's no scary cryptocurrencies out there that could confuse people.
They're here. They're from the government, and they're here to help. Is that what you're saying?
Right. Yes. Are you quoting Ronald Reagan? The scariest words.
That's exactly right.
I don't know if you guys know that statement. The scariest words that I ever could hear from the government. I come from the government and I'm here to help. Do you remember that? I remember that speech.
Yeah.
Was it?
We're showing our age. We have a fairly mature audience, I believe.
Did you hear me? 1,000 points of light.
1,000 points of light. That was George Herbert Walker, HW.
I think, you see what I think's going to happen, and now you guys hit it. I think HUD knows that Canada is going to outlaw Bitcoin mining. And I think that's why Bitfarms is a scary bet right now.
So Brent is saying U.S. banning something that's a state issue. I don't see how. So that's I agree, Brent. That's my exact point. I don't think it's, I mean, I guess I've been surprised and shocked before, but I don't see the path to that. Alex is saying U.S. Bitcoin managed infrastructure ops powered by 680 megawatts in Nebraska and Texas sites. That is why HUT is merging. So, yeah, I mean, this is the other side of the equation. So, thank you, Alex, for bringing that up. That's why we need to know what the other side of this equation. Is this merger going to provide them the infrastructure to get to 25 exahash? What if the answer to that is yes? Then all of a sudden, who cares about the machines? Anybody can buy machines. So if this is 10xing their infrastructure, you know, that's what I want to look to see. In a way, also, obviously, where there's a sound financial partner and they're not taking on some ridiculous amounts of debt and bad deals and bad power prices. But, you know, if they have access to a lot of power, Sue talked a lot about their technology. This is a power technology company. So, you know, that's...
People forget the other business model they have is something to do with database.
Yeah, they're high performance computing, and there's several other streams of revenue. And I will tell you, I asked Sue, and listen, all I could do is ask, but I asked her. I said, look, I noticed one of the things they do is host, and quite frankly, that really hasn't gone well for anybody. What makes you guys different? So
you got to hear this one, guys, and I'll make Tom tell you. How many days did it take to get that video out,
Tom? We did it on Monday and put it out on Friday.
So basically 4 days.
Yes.
So Tom was supposed to get exclusive, didn't get it out because he asked so many questions, and so many questions didn't make it out because they had to pull him. Because you know Tom does this he used to audit companies, audit billion-dollar companies. I don't know what the hell they asked the lady. Is it a good buy? Is it a good thing? But Tom knows what to say, and that's the reason why I'm here, is to let you know that Tom looks at things a lot differently than the way I look at it.
And all I can do is ask the questions. And to be fair, I mean, a lot of questions I knew based on SEC regulations she couldn't answer. I mean, what do you expect her to do? Like, if that makes me shady and you think I'm like covering for Sue, like there's a little organization. It's called the SEC. And at the end of the day, there's a team of attorneys looking at everything, and they got to follow the SEC rules or face the consequences, right? They're a publicly traded company. This is how it works. So I hope to get Sue back on. If there's more information out and I can ask her more questions, I will do so. But, you know, again, I'm going to have to go through the same. It's not going to be like, you know, I'm hoping to get Matt on next week from CleanSpark. I'll put that up the day we record it. But if I get Sue on again, I'm probably, and it's because of what George said, I did ask the questions. And you know, so it didn't breeze through legal in 30 minutes. It took 4 days. So
they're like, oh shit. He worked at what? Cooper's Library? Oh, mother hucker. He was a manager? Oh, son of a...
They were all... no, it wasn't unfair questions. It's just I understand. So they can't answer every question, and they certainly don't want to make a mistake, you know, to accommodate me. That's not a realistic expectation on my part. So...
Papa D, thanks for your insight. Republican president, 2024, all stocks will 5x.
All the Bitcoin mining stocks?
No, he's saying all stocks. He's saying it's going to be a bull run.
Bull run. All stocks. I would jump on all the Bitcoin mining stocks.
Two things. One, if you aren't a member, or please, if you want to become one. Two, actually I got three things. Like the stream. And three, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. Tom's trying to get the 13,000 people.
And
How close are we, Tom?
We're almost there. Let me see if I can pull up a screen here and see. Let me see if I can multitask.
Bitcoin to 29, yes, 76%, no, 24%. So everybody thinks it's going up.
We're getting...
Right now, we have Bitcoin at 24,250-ish. If you want to leave it on that, Tom, so we can watch it slide down as we talk, that'd be nice.
All right, let me move it over to the...
Here's
green candle coming. Green candle incoming.
This is one of the reasons why I got out of CleanSpark today. That's why I get a little scared.
I
but
wish
it's
I
still
knew how
at
to use this
336.
thing.
It did not plummet. Damn you.
$12,962 is what I'm reading. So that means there's 38. I thought we only needed 36. What are we, losing subscribers? Apparently you guys aren't too big on the stream today. If anybody is not subscribed, we are 38 subscribers away from 13,000 subscribers. So if you are interested in the channel and if you watch, if you're a return viewer, we would appreciate the subscribers. It helps us in the algorithm, and everything's all about the algorithm on YouTube. That's just how it is. That's just life. I didn't make the rules. And my smash the like button is broken, and there's nothing I can do about it because my tech support is not currently listening, is what I would guess. Hold on, let me see. All right. Yeah, so we still need 38 people, George. Oh, George is on a call, so I'm talking to myself. I'll talk to you guys. We still need 38 people to subscribe to get to 13,000. And we are having now a 15-minute green candle. We're micromanaging here. You know, it's probably not the best thing to be watching 15-minute candles, but while we're on the stream, we'll do it. And Jeff said, woohoo, everyone join the membership. Yes, please, anybody who's interested, you can become a member of the channel. We have a nice group going. We have a members-only Discord where we have a little bit higher quality conversation, I will say, than on our regular Discord. You're welcome to come to our free Discord as well. Sometimes the conversation devolves on there and we have to step in, but in the member section, obviously, it's a little different story. And we also have a members-only live stream every Tuesday after the market closes, and the members get to vote and pick a stock each week for me to go to do a deep dive on, and I do spend a significant amount of time doing a real deep dive and just try to present the facts. Obviously, you know, what you invest in is your own decision. But that's what we do if you want to become a member, and it helps support the channel, so much appreciated.
Sorry, I had to work.
That's all right.
Damn, I thought it would go down farther. Come on. Oh, it's back up again.
Michael Anthony said, did you watch CNBC and what they said about Bitcoin? I did not. So let us know in the chat. What'd they say?
Why? So what is your conviction still? Have you changed it all? You still feel Bitcoin's going to go to over $100,000? Let's just leave it at that. So that's basically a 5x.
You asking me?
Yeah, you. Yeah.
Yeah, I think. Now, I don't think that's a 2023 thing by any stretch of the imagination. But yeah, I think Bitcoin. If I am bullish on Bitcoin in the long term, I think we're going way past 100,000 as time goes by. I don't know if that's going to take 3 years or 5 years. I don't know. I do think we will trend upward. I think we have bottomed. Now, bottoming doesn't mean you go up in a straight line from there. So I do think the entire year of 2023 is going to be very volatile. 2022 was epically volatile, and I think there's more of that to come. So, be careful, trade accordingly.
Any luck on your subscribers?
Look, I checked, and we need 38 subscribers.
So 2 people left?
I guess. Or I don't know that counts in real time.
I don't think it is real time, by the way.
So we might not be able to.
If you look at it, it looks like they load it up every one time a week.
Yeah, it doesn't move, and then all of a sudden it jumps, and then
right.
So. But anyway, hopefully, if you're out there and if you're listening, you can subscribe to the channel.
Read what Martin just wrote.
Martin?
And you know what's really funny about this? If we were you know how people have shills in their audience and says stuff? Just read what he wrote. You read it out loud, please.
Martin said, I'm very new to trading. After watching Tom's videos, I went from minus 80% to plus 185%. The membership is worth it. Thank you, Martin. And also, you can thank yourself, obviously. I mean, the membership provides a lot of voices to talk together and bounce ideas off of, and obviously I do my best to try and provide a head start on due diligence, but you should also pat yourself on the back, Martin. That's a awesome swing.
And I'm going to tell you, I'll go one step further and say that the people on the membership, these guys are smart. I mean, I feel honored that they're watching us because they've come up with some just humdingers of a pick of who to buy and when to buy it.
Yeah,
it's more credit to you guys. It's a quality group. It's a quality group of people, and thank you all. It's because it's just amazing to think that, all the different things that we've talked about and learned. Like one of the things I know that just stays out is Alex and his whole supermarket thing. I mean, that was a home run, and there's other things that these guys are telling us, and that's what investing is. And I think if you're gonna watch somebody on YouTube and they're going to tell you this is what you need to do and this is how you make all this money, you can't know everything in the stock market. The stock market is so big. You have these analysts that they have one sector of the stock market that's all they do for usually their whole life. So There's so much involved in the stock market. So it's really nice when other members of Talking Investing, they are out there researching this stuff and saying, hey, we see a good swing trade here. We see a good opportunity to make some money over here, not really on a day trading level, but definitely on more of a swing trade long-term outlook.
And we also get a recommendation every week, and the members vote on it for me to do a deep dive. And so far, I mean, it's been a lot of outstanding companies. And to George's point, I probably follow more companies than most people, but it's still a tiny fraction of the amount of companies in the market. So, we do have.
I stopped investing in supermarket. But that was a good trade when it was the trade. You know that. You know what I'm saying? This has been going on for a few months now, Alex.
Oh, yeah. The supermarket trade was real. Anyway, I'm going to reiterate George's point. I mean, we have some super high quality people in our membership, and it makes for excellent selections. I've learned a lot just doing my deep dives. So, thank you to all. I see a bunch of members are on the stream right now, so thank you guys.
And I'm gonna say one more thing. We're gonna start moving off of YouTube a little bit for some other stuff, but when you look at it and you look at the opportunities that are out there, it's crazy. YouTube's definitely where it's at. But what I was gonna say was we don't have, and I'm not saying this to pick on kids, but we don't have probably the best graphics, the best clip art, the best things to catch your attention, but this is real, hardcore in the trenches trading. That's how you make the money. It's so sad when you look at all these, YouTube videos, and I think we're going to Vimeo. How do you say that? Vimeo? Video?
Vivo,
Vimeo, something like that. And they don't even have a section for finance. They don't even have us, and that's just amazing. They have all the other cool stuff that's out there to watch. Not about making money because that's not cool, but I don't know. Being 53 now and knowing what I know now, if I would have known it then, I'm sure I'd be a lot farther ahead. Even though I'm very happy where I'm at. And I think that's the key to this whole life.
That's the journey.
Yeah, that's the journey. Yep. All right, that was a perfect time for me to step out.
You out?
Yeah, I'm out. Thanks for everybody for watching. And,
all right, George, thanks for joining us.
Hasta.
Hasta
How
la
do you say it?
vista.
Vimeo? Video? I don't know what it
You
is.
should probably look that one up, and we'll pronounce that. In the
I'll
future, we'll be
never-
pronouncing that correctly.
Once I say
Alex is
something
saying
wrong,
Vimeo. Thank you,
I will
Alex.
never say it right, Alex. It's just how I am. Once I say something wrong, I'm just never gonna say it right. Sorry. I know. Oh, is it back up? Hang on. Oh man, I got until 8 o'clock. I'm not giving up.
It's running. We're running. Bitcoin's running.
13,390.
It's gonna go to 25,000 on
It
the
only
live
got
stream.
to CleanSpark only got to 336.
This is
And I
what I'm
wanted
saying. Like the price
330.
action on a lot of these Bitcoin miners today was not great, and yesterday really. Not to complain because the 3 days before that everything ran like crazy. But I think these are still, many of these are still very underpriced in my
You think
opinion.
I should buy some before we close out?
Uh,
I just sold like 80. Oh, I shouldn't say that. Never mind. I just sold, I sold a lot.
You, George.
You do you. You do you.
You have
just
your
like-
own way.
I love seeing green every day on my, trading thing. I get really mad when I see red.
You're not alone, but you might take it more personally than the average person.
Oh, bid is 330. Ask is 342 now. Nah, I'm not doing that. Too rich for my blood.
Looks like
I'll see
Jeff
you
has
guys.
to go. He said, "See ya." All right, George. Thanks.
See
We'll
you guys.
see you later. We'll see you next week.
Yeah.
All right, just switched over. That button worked at least. All right, so a couple of things. I've been missing a lot of comments. Murr Mining is asking, please look into GREEL. It's a heavily discounted bond paying 40% at its low prices. So I'm going to write that one down. GREEL. And welcome. I don't know if I feel like you're a relatively new member, so welcome to the membership, Talking Investing Squad. Appreciate you joining, and I will definitely look at this. And we can see if we put it in, maybe put it in for the vote for the deep dive. So Steve is answering a question for me. Somebody earlier was asking, I saw that, but I didn't get to it. Somebody earlier was asking Galaxy Digital, and I think that was also a member. Ray, yes, Ray, do you think Galaxy Digital is a good buy? So I did do, I'll just give you the Cliff's Notes, but if you look, there's a live stream where I talked about Galaxy Digital at great length. It's in the members only section. So you now have access to that. And so obviously, I can't tell you guys what to do, but I found some stuff that I thought was fairly shocking when I looked into that. So it was not at all what I expected. And, I am personally staying very far away from that. Maybe I'm wrong. You guys obviously got to make your own decisions in the end, but I did talk a lot about what's going on with them and what my concerns were. So if you want the rest of that, you can check it out. Anthony, thank you very much, sir. Small miner to check out when you can, and it has multiple revenue streams. INVU. I haven't looked at them. I have to relook at them. They fell off of my list. I don't remember why. But absolutely. I will definitely take. In fact, let's just visit them right now. And by the way, thank you for the super chat. Much appreciated. INVU. So they're a $56 million market cap, but what is it? What was it about them? Like, I felt like they weren't mining Bitcoin at one point. Through its subsidiaries, delivers financial education, digital assets, and related technology for individuals. The company offers digital asset technology management, self-direct brokerage services, institutional trade execution. So is this more of a an exchange, would you say, Anthony? And I'll look into it further. I can't, I can't do a deep dive right here as I look at it, but I did write that one down on my list as well, and I'll take a closer look here as to what's going on. Let's see what some of their... All right, so they just... Well, this was 3 months ago they put out their results last, and no new news since. And it is a small market cap company, so I'll have to dig in. I'll go through their financial statements, and that's where I usually start. I can't even look at a company until I've gone through their financial statements. Nothing makes sense to me until I start there. So I will do that for this. And thank you for the recommendation. And again, thanks for the super chat. Michael Anthony said, I asked a question about what CNBC said this afternoon near the close. Yes, I read that, Michael. I don't know if maybe it didn't come through or you didn't hear. I did not see what they said, and I asked you if you could tell us what they said, but maybe you did tell us and I missed it. The chat goes by fast, so if you want to repost that, I will read it and see what's going on. Because I didn't see it. I didn't see what they said. Ray said, stay away from Galaxy Digital, ? So I'll just leave it at that. Steve said, the reasons are in the video. Watch it and decide for yourself. So, yeah, I mean, that's all I can say. I went through it. I gave my opinion. It's not what I was expecting. And Austin is asking, do you think Iris is going to be on par with CleanSpark? I think that Iris... I just did an Iris video sometime in the last... this week. I think what Iris just finished, and it took them about 4 months from start to finish, and I think they changed their world. They were another company that, they were a little later to the party. A lot of these companies like Cypher and Iris and Gree, they were a step behind, or more than a step behind some of the companies like Marathon and Riot and Bitfarms and, Hut and Hive that have been around for just a longer period of time, and CleanSpark, which is a little bit newer. And really, Marathon isn't, even the ones that have been around a while haven't been around that long. There's only a couple. I think Hut and Hive go back pretty far, and not too many go back further than that. Anyway, they got in a little bit later. They got in over their head because all of a sudden Bitcoin tanked. And for a while, it looked like they were maybe going to be in trouble from a liquidity standpoint. So I definitely went from afraid of them to... And then I did a video... When they did part 1 of this, I went through the whole thing in detail. So 3 or 4 months ago, I put out a detailed video. I know a lot of people... What they did, I think, kind of offends a lot of people, but the reality is this is how it works. And it's the lending institution's fault for setting up their loan this way. They were able to walk away from $103 million in debt. Now, they had to give back a bunch of their Bitcoin mining machines in order to do that. So they took a big step back in exahash rate on a temporary basis in order to clear up what was the vast majority. Actually, I think it may have been 100% of their debt. So I think they might now be debt-free. And the loan was structured in a way where Iris Energy, the company, other than the security on the machines they had to give back, they did not secure that loan in any other way. So they were able to just walk away from the machines, walk away, get rid of their $100 million of debt, and all of a sudden they're a new company. At the same time, they had $75 million deposit with Bitmain on what was supposed to be a total of 10 exahash worth of machines. So that $75 million was already money out the door. They didn't have enough money to buy the rest of the 10 exahash. So they worked that out with Bitmain to get, I think, 4.4 exahash in exchange for the deposit they've already given. So they're going to add 4.4 exahash, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's something to that effect, to their overall mining, and it's going to be in the next 30 or 60 days. And they didn't have to pay a penny in cash for that because it was in prepayments that they had made a long time ago. So, they got to utilize 75 million that was locked up as a prepayment that they really couldn't use, and they got rid of $100 million of debt. So, to me, I think they're putting themselves in the conversation, is what I would say. I think those were big moves, and I know a lot of people are mad, like, oh, you just walked away from your debt, but I mean, these are publicly traded companies, and you guys know, I mean, if somebody loaned them $100 million, then shame on them if they didn't properly secure that loan. But, at that time, this was back when Bitcoin was going to the moon, and everybody was doing anything they could to get involved with it. So, this lender made a loan they probably shouldn't have made. So they did secure it with their machines, and they got their machines back. So it is what it is. I don't blame management for, if the loan is set up that way, you can't blame management for defaulting on a loan it was going to put them out of business. There was that was just a mathematical fact. Let's see. I thought I saw. Where is it? I thought I saw Michael give the answer to what was going on, but I can't find it on that CNBC thing. Oh, Darren, whatever CNBC said, it's a 1,000,000% FUD. Okay, maybe that's what I was looking at. Righteous Lion said TerraWolf. TerraWolf dramatically restructured their organization in a way that, in my opinion, was extremely positive. So that is another one that I'm bullish on. So I have 2 new positions in 2023, and they're TerraWolf and Stronghold. And, I can't add them all. And yeah, I did miss some huge runs on some other ones. Some that I did deep dives on and, came to the conclusion, wow, this is a big time buy, but I can't buy them all. So, I didn't buy them all. So I got some and I missed some. Eric said he's dollar cost averaging into CleanSpark every week. Michael Anthony said INVU is a pink sheet. So yeah, this is over the counter. So this is a pink sheet. So, you got to be on certain platforms to trade this. It's not on your, like, Robinhood or Webull or those kinds of things. I believe over-the-counter stuff is not on those. Quarty said Iris has level heads steering the ship. I mean, it would seem that way. I like what they did. A lot of these companies there were a lot of these companies at one point we all thought, or I will tell you that I thought, and I got thousands of comments that there's going to be a culling inside of the Bitcoin miners, and most of them are going out of business. That was the prevailing line of thought 6 or 8 months ago, but something a little different than that happened. A lot of these companies just restructured into either smaller or different companies, and they're surviving in a different way. So they don't look anything like what they did maybe coming in. They're never going to get to the goals that they said they were going to get to, but they didn't necessarily go out of business. So, I guess it may be to the same end. They scaled back their Bitcoin mining to the point where, because at one point, if you added up everybody's exahash that they were going to add, like, the global hash rate was going to go to the moon. And, it has gone up quite a bit. It's in the 300 range. see if I have that. So, yeah, I think this today is a record. 348. This thing does fluctuate up and down. I mean, on January 31st, it was 224, but it's been hanging around 300 for a while now. And now today, I'm just seeing this for the first time. 348, I believe, is a new record. So the machines are getting added. I think somebody earlier mentioned that Marathon got a bunch more of their machines online. So, you know, and it's not just one. Obviously, it's not just one company. To get to 348 exahash is massive. So, and that affects everybody's mining outcome as well, obviously, because there's a correlation between this and the difficulty level. And the difficulty level is, although it went down last time, it went down a little bit. So it's just a little bit off of its all-time high. But, you know, the difficulty level has gone up drastically. Michael Anthony saying, I think CNBC said that people are getting more bullish on Bitcoin. Not sure, but I think that they said this. So I don't know. I mean, I do know. Now now you're hearing both ends of the story. Everything was all negative. Now some people have started to turn around and they're wondering, you know, is the run going to start? And I mean, you just heard George and I debate. We both had a different answer. I think we've hit the bottom. And while I don't think we're going straight to the moon, I feel like we're going to crack this 25,000 and have one, you know, the next leg up. And I'm trying to assess these one leg at a time because, you know, situation changes in the market. We're in such a volatile market that, you know, to say what's it going to be like 3 months from now, 6 months from now, it's very difficult to tell. So, you know, I'm trying to just follow this as it goes along. And in my mind, to me, it seems to look more likely than not that we're going to break through this $25,000. So that doesn't mean it's absolutely going to happen, but I believe now that that's the more likely case scenario. And that's how I'm playing it. So Austin said they are debt-free now, $39.4 million in cash. So this, I think, is Iris Energy he's talking about. $39.4 million in cash and no debt. Yeah, I mean, that's a drastic change in their balance sheet. I mean, that's the difference between a company that was doomed and a company that has a healthy balance sheet now. Austin, thanks for the insight. You're welcome. Thank you. Hash rate. So Eric is saying hash rate will be the most important value when the halving comes. And yeah, I mean, that's what it's all about. We're going to get to the halving sometime in first or second quarter 2024. And I mean, it is what it sounds like. It cuts the reward in half. So Gary said, big exahash in 2023, Core, Riot, Mara, CleanSpark, Bitfarms, Cypher, and Iris. First four will go over 10 exahash, other three over 5 this year. So that's some stiffer competition because nobody got where they thought they were going to get. In September, October, November of 2021, people's target for December 31st, 2022, there were a lot of people that had gigantic targets. 5 or 6 companies that are not on the list that you just mentioned that are never going to get there. Because like I said, they had to change, their business model based on the massive downturn bear market in Bitcoin. But there are a bunch now, and you just listed them, that they're ramping up. There's no doubt. So yeah, I think we can expect to see a bunch over 10 exahash. Somebody earlier asked me if I could do an analysis on Core Scientific. And my problem with Core Scientific is I just don't have the information because they're in Chapter 11. I feel like it's a guess. Are they going to come out of Chapter 11? It seems like it. They get to run their machines all this time. They're mining a lot of Bitcoin, but they're having to sell all of it to keep going. So, they're mining the most Bitcoin by far, but I don't know necessarily that that's helping them because they're selling it all, and they're not selling it and adding to infrastructure. They're selling it to pay their bills because they borrowed $1 billion. So I'm just not sure where the shareholders are going to sit at the other side of this Chapter 11. I will say, as I've said before, there have been successful Chapter 11 reorganizations where the shareholders came out ahead of where they were when they went in. So it would not be unprecedented, but I will say it's the exception. So we'll have to see. One of the things that could make a big difference is if Bitcoin runs while Core Scientific is getting to take a breather and sit on the sidelines. If Bitcoin runs up to, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, that could be a game changer for Core Scientific. And then, that would greatly increase the chance of their shareholders coming out with a bigger piece of the puzzle. Alex said, January 4th, 2023, Canada has declared war on the Bitcoin mining. So several provinces have banned new Bitcoin mining. I did see that. So the people that were up and running, I think they were going to keep going, but they weren't going to add any new. Even if they wanted to use hydroelectricity, they were not going to let them add more Bitcoin mining. So yeah, some of these provinces took a strong stance against Bitcoin. And so I think that is another reason. Somebody earlier mentioned that's one of the reasons, might have been Alex, that's one of the reasons that, HUT is looking at this deal. They're going to become a U.S. company. They'll have access to a lot of energy in the United States, and they may be hedging their bets, because right now they're 100% of their operations are in Canada. Gorilla's waiting on his tax refund to buy more Marathon and Riot. Darren said, your thoughts on NNDM share buyback to poison the hostile takeover. I really wish that NNDM was further along in their process than they are. They've been very prudent. They've bought a few things. They raised a monumental amount of money. And so for that reason, in 2022, that was on my list. There were 2 or 3 stocks that I said, I think this is the safest place in the market to be, in my opinion. And Nano Dimensions was one of those. So now people are going to be angry because people bought shares at very high numbers, right? Because they did a lot of dilution. So people bought shares at very high numbers, and now they're going to buy them back for pennies on the dollar. So some shareholders are going to be angry about that. They're going to feel slighted. But if that's what it takes, it's not what I want to see them spend all their money on. But if that's what it takes, then I guess that's what they have to do. Barry's asking, is Stella on the XRP ledger, or does it have its own ledger? I don't know the answer to that question. Brent said several provinces have banned new hookups and new applications for 18 months. Not sure if existing operations are affected. So, yeah, the thing that I read, and I don't know if this is every province, was that what was already up and running was not going to be affected, but they were going to have this moratorium here for 18 months and nothing new. So I think we're on the same page, Brent. I think that's what's going on. And then, it's always scary. Well, 18 months, one of the things that can happen to 18 months is that it turns into forever. So that's what I would be worried about. And then obviously, if there's no new ones forever, then what are they going to do about the ones that are already there? So it's definitely, that's definitely an issue. So it seems like Bitfarms is confident they are not impacted by any of this. And most of their additional, not most, I think all of it's going to be in Argentina really at this point. So if they ever get that piece of the puzzle going, they, I think, intentionally were. What's up, Seth? Welcome. That wasn't me, on the That was fake me. We have some imposters. So everybody be careful. There's imposters out there. You know, our channel's no different than everybody else. We got people trying to spam and scam, and Seth found one for us yesterday. So thank you for that. Brent said, just Quebec, Manitoba, and British Columbia, I think. Government rarely does anything temporarily. Right. Seth said, I know you were pointing that out to us, and I appreciate it. It's very frustrating chasing these people down. I don't know. There must be an automated way for people to do all this stuff, because it's unthinkable. I'm not a big channel, and yet I get probably 100 on YouTube, you know, people putting messages pretending to be me, using my profile. So be careful. You'll often get an answer from me to your comment on YouTube. I try to read every single comment. I can't answer every single one, but you're never going to get an answer that says, hey, call my WhatsApp or Telegram or any of that kind of stuff. If it's anything other than the official stuff I talk about, you guys know what we have. And that's why I chose to do the membership with YouTube. You know, anybody watching the video is already on the platform YouTube, so, you know, you don't have to go to some foreign third place and do something different, and you know it's legitimate. So if you see anything else, it's not me. I guess that's all I would say about that. But I know everybody on YouTube suffers from that. Ray said, Tom, which miners are you mostly invested in? So, I mean, right now, my biggest three positions are Bitfarms, Cleanspark, and Riot. And then I have some medium positions, and then I have two brand new small positions. And those I talked about earlier. I just opened positions in Stronghold and TerraWolf based on their recent press releases of what I thought was very encouraging news. So I don't have a smash the like button. It's not working, but please, everybody, smash the like button. It helps the channel out a lot, and it helps the live stream out a lot. And give me 1 second. Okay, and if you would like to become a member, I just put a link in the chat. And again, we're doing that through YouTube, so you know it's a trusted partner. And we go through. I want to thank half of the comments I'm getting right now are from members, so thank you for being on the stream. Thanks for being members, and basically, we do a once-a-week members-only live stream. We pick a video on that. The members pick a video for me to do a deep dive on, so those are members-only content. We also have a members-only Discord that we have some good conversation, and it helps support the channel because, unfortunately, I am a small channel, so this does not pay for itself. So, obviously, if you're interested, I think it's worth it. And we had some members talk about their experiences, and I think everybody, I won't say everybody, but I think a lot of people have had positive experiences. I know I have. The membership has been great for me. It's introduced me to a lot of new companies that I never would have otherwise known about. So, yes, Ed, the invite to my OnlyFans page was not real. That was not me. I don't even want to know. Steve, yes, my part 1 of my XRP deep dive is in the members section. I'm working on part 2, and there's probably going to be many more parts to that. So I went down the rabbit hole on XRP. So I'm trying to present that it is its own universe. It's unbelievable. So, yeah, no, I have no OnlyFans. George does. Maybe George has an OnlyFans page. I don't know. So yeah, there's gonna be a bunch more on the XRP, and it's not like anything else. So that was one that the members picked, and I didn't know what I was getting myself into, and I can't just do a quickie. So once I started going down the rabbit hole, it was like it just kept going and going and going. So, but it's interesting, and I know George is the XRP fan. I think Seth, you're an XRP thumbs up person, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. Darren said the XRP video was interesting. I'll not be buying and honestly probably won't watch any additional parts. Darren wants no part of XRP. Brent says Algo is greater than XRP. So all I will say is that XRP is its own thing. I think it is the 6th largest cryptocurrency, and 2 of the things that are ahead of it are stable coins, so I don't even necessarily know that I count those. And it's one of the oldest cryptocurrencies, and it has been in the top 10 for basically its whole entire life. So it's a big deal. You might not want to buy it, and I can't tell you to buy it or sell it, but it is, it's a big deal. It's one of the big deals. You got Bitcoin, obviously. You've got Ethereum that gets a massive amount of attention, but XRP is something that could exist on that level at some point if things go the right way. So, in my opinion. Ray said, Tom, since British Columbia, Canada is banning Bitcoin mining, is HUT or Bitfarms a risky investment then? Bitfarms and HUT and Hive are all Canadian-based companies, and we have not received any indication that any existing Bitcoin mining facilities are going to be banned or shut down or closed. So obviously, I guess there's always some government risk. I kind of talked about what I thought the risk was in the United States, and I think it's negligible in my opinion. I don't know as much in Canada, but Bitfarms has been adamant that they're unaffected by any of these moratoriums and whatnot. And you can see they've also started, they're in Paraguay and Argentina. They've started to, go other places and diversify. So I think that is wise for most of these Bitcoin miners to probably diversify where they get their energy, who they get their energy from, right? Concentration of risk is a bad thing, whether it's operating in one country or buying all your electricity from one company. So anything you can do to diversify is always, that's going to mitigate your risk in the long term. We're at 98 likes, even though my smash the like button is broken. So we want to try to get to 100. This would be our 3rd stream in a row. We got to 100 likes. So I would appreciate it if anybody wants to smash the like button. Darren said, no part of XRP. I'm perfectly fine with my Bitcoin miners. Brent said, not recommending Algo, but it is the only altcoin I own. All right, Brent, I'm going to write that one down. But I'm scared to do any more deep dives into coins because I didn't know what I was getting into with XRP. So some of you might have been laughing at me when you picked that because you did know what I was getting into. Gary said HUT 8 is in Ontario and Alberta. They are fine. Gary said Iris is in British Columbia. They are exempt for their current 4.7 exahash. Robert, see you later. Thanks for joining us. So Steven's mentioning the hut mining in Ontario has been curtailed. So there's definitely curtailment that happens in the winter months in Canada, but there's a lot of curtailment. There's almost no place that gets all 12 months of the year without running into some curtailment. So that, I think, is just going to be a fact of life in this Bitcoin mining world. Gorilla, I have dropped the ball on that. He's asking me about Fred from Marathon. And so I will remind myself of that. So I got to reach out to them and see what's going on. Bitfarms is fine in, this is also Gary, Bitfarms is fine in Quebec. Question is if Iris or Bitfarms wants to expand at their current locations. Right. So, and so that's why I think, and both of them have operations in other places. And Bitfarms, I mean, the next 200 megawatts of energy that Bitfarms is planning is in Argentina. Now, they obviously massively slowed their roll on that, and we will see. So, you know, there were some other concerns going on there. In addition to that, you know, Bitcoin tanked in the middle. So I think for all of those reasons, they slowed down, but we'll see how that goes. Barry said, do you think you have more Canadian viewers because Hut and Bitfarms and old Bitcoin mining companies and from Canada? I own Alto too. I think definitely this channel has a very strong presence in Canadian subscribers. US, Canada, the UK, those are the three largest countries that I have subscribers from, but we do have subscribers from all over the place. So thank you to everybody from the different spots in the world. You can mention in the chat where you're from. I know a lot of you have already told us multiple times, but we're fortunate. That's the beauty of this thing is, you know, we all get to talk to everybody regardless of where we are. So Scott is saying Wyoming will pay them to come. So there's places. That's what I'm saying. For every door that shuts, there's another one that may open. There's places that are already very user-friendly to Bitcoin miners. Seth is saying everybody needs to understand AMP, AMP. I got to write that one down then, Seth. Kaleo said, love all your videos. Thanks a lot. Thank you. I appreciate that. Green. Yeah, green. Darren's mentioning we're getting green. We got to run. That's why I want to just see if we can hold out a little longer and see if we can get this run to 25. It's, you know, we're $300 away. We're at 24/7. I mean, Bitcoin is super, super healthy right now. So I don't want to jinx it. That could obviously change at any moment. Sourmelon Gaming saying Bitcoin's making another push towards 25K. Let's go. So yeah, let's go. Let's get there. I'm going to end this poll because it's been up for a long time. Will Bitcoin get to 29K? So with 147 votes, 78% said yes. They think Bitcoin in the next 60 days is going to get to 29K. So I'm calling it. That's a decisive victory for the bullish on Bitcoin to 29K. Thanks everybody who voted. I don't get to vote, but I would have voted yes. I think that's what's going to happen, but time will tell. Barry's saying, go Seth. He will be an altcoin expert. Yeah, you guys are dragging me down. Is that another rabbit hole, Seth, that you're sending me down? But you said I have to know it, so I guess I have to do it. I do want to look. The universe of cryptocurrency is, you know, just still. it's still at the very, very beginning. It may feel like it's been around a long time, and a lot of you may have been in this space for several years, but this is the beginning of, what I think is going to be something many-fold bigger than it is right now. So, yeah, I want to learn more about this space. I do think, obviously, there's 20,000 coins and tokens out there. Most of them are most likely something close to worthless. But there are several projects that, are of use. And they have different use cases. And, some of them are going to win, I think. I know that the SEC wants to get a hold of all of them. But even if they do, here's the thing. Even if they fall under the SEC, that doesn't mean they cease to exist. That just means they're going to have to follow SEC rules. I don't know how many of them they're going to get their hands on. So that's a big question mark. Regulations yet to come. I think the SEC has abandoned ship on trying to get Bitcoin inside of its domain. So in the U.S., Bitcoin, it would appear, unless some drastic change happens, everybody's agreed that that's going to be treated as a commodity. But there's been no agreement past that. So obviously you would think Ethereum would be the next thing that they make a decision on, because it's by far the next closest size cryptocurrency. And there's a lot of people. I was just watching BitBoy talk about how he thinks Ethereum's going to run past Bitcoin and leave it in the dust. And I can't remember. There was another one that he thought was also going to do the same thing. I completely disagree with that. But I know there's a lot of people that think that. I am not in that camp. I think that Bitcoin will always be the largest cryptocurrency. But that doesn't mean that there won't be others that are hugely successful. So there's a lot of room. This is a potential future sector of the stock market, I think, is the way a lot of people are looking at this. Tim's saying, I doubt Fred's going to come here. LOL, good luck. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll find out. I'm not sure. I've seen Fred one or two times out there talking. I don't know. They have an investor relations person that does that, and that's the person I've reached out to. But everybody here voted they'd rather hear from Fred. But maybe that's not going to happen. I have no idea. Let me see. Seth, yeah, I'll follow up on that. It sounds like you got details. Matic, $1.52, says Barry. Yeah, Matic had the best run out of all of them in the last couple of weeks. But Bitcoin had a big pump. Ethereum had a big pump. And Polygon did better than both of them. Let's just go to like... So, in the last 7 days, wow, I mean, these are nice runs. Bitcoin's up 14% in the last 7 days. Ethereum, 12.5%. Obviously, Tether does not count. Binance is now green, but they had some bumps in the road in the middle. And then we got another stable coin. XRP, not much action. Cardano passed Binance USD. That is something we haven't talked about. I'm going to do a video on the fact that this is gone. For those of you who don't know, this is going away. This will cease to exist. So it's not going to happen tonight or tomorrow, but already since that announcement, Cardano has now passed the Binance US dollar. That was their stable coin. So it's already fallen from 7th place to 8th place, and it's just going to keep dropping. So there's no new BUSD coins that will ever be minted again. But anyway, the point of all this was Polygon, or Matic, 22.8% in the last 7 days. So that is the winner. That's a nice pump. Let's see if we got any other big. Solano 15, Polkadot. I mean, there were some nice moves. This was a nice run. You know, obviously, and when you got Bitcoin and Ethereum making these kind of big moves, I know the Bitcoin dominance went up a bit, so, you know, that was a huge run for Bitcoin. Let's see. Marathon had on their website $55 per terahash. Tim said, I think you're relatively fair, but the clickbait anti-marathon titles are not helping. The only thing I can tell you about my titles are I do approve them. I don't make them, but I do approve them. And the reality is we've tested this out, and I don't love it, but it is what it is. There's certain videos that if we don't put some type of clickbait type of a thing, and then nobody watches them. I've done the same video twice under one name where it gets 180 views, and under another name where it gets 1,500 views. So at some point, like, what I care about on this channel is for people to watch the content, and because I think I work very hard to make this content. But yes, I mean, I can't disagree with you, Tim. The titles can contain clickbait. There is absolutely no doubt about it. Let's see. Barry saying Polygon will pass ADA soon, which would be massive. Check out number 57, RNDR. Am I not seeing, is it a different number on this list? I give up. Murr said Dubai has a 0.5 cent power per kilowatt. I mean, that's a game changer. That destroys the best power out of any of the places that are currently doing Bitcoin mining. So that would be a game changer. A 0.5 cent, like 2.5 cents, is like by far the best right now. So Tim saying, if I'm Fred, then hard pass. He might hard pass. Just so you know, they reached out to me to come on the channel. So, but they by no means did they say that Fred was going to come on the channel. They wanted their investor relations person to come on, which makes sense because that's that person's job. So, and maybe I should, I'd be glad to have that person on as well. So I'd like to have them. I want to get everybody on the channel. Some of the smaller Bitcoin miners, I know that, there's just not enough people that care. So, it doesn't make sense for me to talk to them. But for obviously Marathon's a leader, and I'd love to have them on the channel. So hopefully I'll make that happen one way or the other, with or without Fred. Darren said, Mara, hate the company like the stock. Robert said, Mara only gets 20% of whatever they do in Dubai, right? ? So that is the deal that was, as it was presented to us. They will be 20% owner in their partnership in Dubai. Yes, Mur, that's what they're saying. So, and I don't know how. I mean, they may be able to scale up to a point where that becomes significant. I believe the way I read that release is that that's going to, phase A of that is going to end up giving them the equivalent of 1 or 2 exahash. So it's not going to be a giant piece of their puzzle, but it may be a piece that can expand massively. And if they're getting power at a half a penny, then the gross profit on that, that 1 or 2 exahash is going to be out of this world. Charlie is meh from Mara, said Tim. You won't get much from him. So, I mean, that's why I'm conflicted. But you're also could be right that Fred, has no interest in coming on the channel. So I guess I'll reach out to them and continue that conversation and see where it leads. But Tim, it seems like Tim is in the know on Marathon, is saying maybe Charlie's not necessarily worth the interview. Bitcoin Rules said Ethereum will not be our future. Bitcoin. So that comment makes absolute perfect sense from Bitcoin Rules. I agree with you, by the way. When is Matt coming on? I think he will be on next week. So I haven't finalized the date, but I think he's going to be on next week. When I have an exact date, I will tell you, and I'm not going to have to jump through the hoops that I had to jump through the last time with Hot 8, because they're not in the middle of an SEC transaction. So it's going to be like most of my other interviews where I get to just interview and put it on, and that's that. So hopefully I'll get an exact date for you next week on that one. Anthony's asking, is Mara or Riot the top leader? So I think that's a subjective question. Right there, they both have strong balance sheets. Their one is all equity. The other one is convertible debt that I think ultimately is going to be equity. They're both ramping up in exahash. If Marathon does what they say they're going to do, then they're going to be bigger than Riot by the end of the year. But they do have different business models. So, from a profitability standpoint, I'm not sure who ends up ahead in that run. But they're the two biggest by far right now at this moment. They're the two biggest by far. But I will tell you, I mean, there are some coming on strong. And Cleanspark seems bent to catch up to these guys. And I dismissed that for the better part of a year as an unrealistic goal, but I am no longer dismissing that as unrealistic. They have gone to places I did not think they could get to this fast, and so we'll see. We'll see if they get into that conversation. Darren said get Jason Less back on, so yeah, I'd love to get Jason on. I'd love to see their next month. They still have... I want to ask Jason about their energy credits, because it's a big piece of their puzzle, and sometimes they don't tell us what they are in their monthly update, and I feel like we can't really put together whether or not it was a good month or a bad month unless we know both the amount of Bitcoin they mined and the amount of energy credits they got. So, because it does seem to me like they're capable of mining a lot more Bitcoin than they've been mining, even though they just had their all-time record last month. I think they mined 740 Bitcoin in January, which was their all-time record. I know there was some bad weather at the beginning of February, so I'm not sure how that's going to go, but they should be on pace. They should be way over 1,000 before the end of the year if they stick to their plan, 1,000 a month. is what I'm saying. Tim's asking, thoughts on Soros buying Merrill long-term debt notes? I mean, he's a gigantic investor. That's all I can say. So, you know, there's people that like him. There's people that don't like him. But that's a lot of money. You know, that's a lot. That's a whale. So, I think it helps the company in general. Robert said, it seems like Mara is willing to sell a piece of themselves to anyone. I don't know how much they will actually take home at the end of the day for investors. So this is 2023 is going to be an enlightening year, I think. It's the year that I thought 2022 would be, where people ramped up and we started to get a look at, you know, people at capacity, operating at full capacity, looking at, you know, what their financial statements look like in that situation. But obviously, almost everybody scaled way back in 2022. Everybody's top line was a nightmare because Bitcoin basically crashed in 2022. So we didn't get a lot of the answers that I thought we would get in 2022. I'm hoping we start to get those answers in 2023. And some of them, from my perspective, you know, it's at the end of the day, this is all about making money. So I want to see it in the financial statements. Can these guys turn the corner, become profitable? They've all taken very different tactics to try to get to the same place. So some of these may work better than others. And to me, obviously, you know, your return on your investment as a shareholder is the way to judge that at the end of the day. Darren said, I cannot dismiss CleanSpark's operations. They are the gold standard for operational excellence. I mean, they seem to be. I mean, they're just operationally, they've been crushing it. Brent said, Darren, Cypher is coming in strong. So Cypher ramped up big time and quickly, right? They went from doing nothing for most of the year 2022 to really turning on the burners but I don't know where they go from here. So I'd like to know more about their plans on getting, you know, to are they planning on getting to 15, 20 exahash? And I think unless Bitcoin turns around, and obviously that could happen, maybe we will revisit our lows. I think we bottomed out in July. I think we had a one-time event in November that pushed us even lower than where we were in June of 2022 when we had the flash crash, and that was the FTX event. Obviously, we went sideways for a little while. I think that was kind of a double bottom, and this was a very brutal bear market. So, you know, from the standpoint of, has there been enough pain? Has there been capitulation? By the time we know the answer to that question, you know, it's too late. So for me, I believe that's all behind us. But time will tell. Mr. Charles says, only a matter of time before the major miners start keeping active stats on the company's website. Give the people what they want. Yeah, that'd be great. I mean, for a while, and I think they may still do it, Core Scientific was updating on their website and Twitter, here's how many Bitcoin we mined, you know, every single day. Gary said, CleanSpark is by far my largest holding and strongest conviction stock. So that's one of my high conviction stocks. So, you know, for whatever that's worth, take it for what it's worth. I have a lot of confidence in what they're doing. I like what they've done. I like their business model. I think it's going to work. If Bitcoin turns around and crashes again, then, you know, I guess you'd have to reassess all of these Bitcoin miners. But if Bitcoin can stay reasonably healthy, I feel like CleanSpark has kind of threaded the needle and picked the right path, in my opinion. So we'll see how it plays out. Brent said, I have a lot of CleanSpark as well. I think there's a lot of people that like CleanSpark. I think CleanSpark, Riot, Marathon, Bitfarms, to a lesser extent, seem to be favorites among the Bitcoin mining retail investment community. Now, from a shares traded standpoint, Marathon is by far the number one most popular company, Bitcoin mining company. It's not even close. So their trading volume is massive. So they have a lot of institutional investing, and they just have much more. I mean, even much more than Riot. It's not. You would think they would be similar, but they are not. So Marathon. So today they traded 42.8 million, but 28 or 29 million is their average at $7.70. So Riot, their stock price is a little less, and you can see their trading volume is 13.5 million. So even if they were the same price, Marathon's more than double the daily volume that Riot is. And Riot's in second place by a mile. So third place is distant third place. So Riot and Marathon were the first ones to be listed on the NASDAQ. Bit Digital was listed early as well, but their company went through they took a different path entirely. They are not on the level of Riot and Marathon. Most of their machines were plugged in China. There was a lot of question as to whether or not they even had any of those machines. There was a short report that claimed they're not even a real company. I don't think that was the case, but I do think they're not. I think everybody would agree they are, but not to scale of Marathon and Riot by any means. Gary's saying AVAX is the only altcoin I own, and it's basically just a small curiosity position. Yeah, see, I don't even. Robert said, love CleanSpark and Riot. The others, a lot less. So that's Robert's 1 and 2. Some I wouldn't touch because I don't understand how they will make money. Mara, that is from Robert. So I will tell you, this is what happens with Marathon. There's no doubt that Marathon and now Hut is turning into one of these companies. People seem to love them or hate them for whatever reason. So Darren said, Brent, I know about Cypher. However, they aren't a margin stock on TD, so it's just not friendly for me. So yeah, I mean, that's a factor. Most of the Bitcoin miners are not margin stocks, not marginable. So, if you're somebody that utilizes margin, and be probably a more advanced trader if you do that. So everybody, as always, I say, be careful if you're not used to that and you don't understand margin and you're new to investing, and margin it is much higher risk. But obviously, for those of you that know how to use it, can be a good thing. So yeah, Cypher is not marginable. I think some of these are going to get marginable by the end of 2023. I think we're going to be looking at a much longer list, in my opinion, but we will see. Time will tell. Gary said, Argentina imposes heavy import taxes on Bitcoin mining machines. It's hampering Bitfarms' rollout. So that's unfortunate, and who knows what that's going to do. And you can see, I mean, they're not even crawling. They're less than crawling on getting that up and running. Wisdom Bite says it's a mindset thing with people about which miners to invest. We are all used to CleanSpark, Bitfarms, Hut, etc., but the newer ones have greater potential, especially Cypher, Stronghold, and Wolf. So 2 of those 3 are 2 positions that I added in 2023. So I don't disagree with you, Wisdom Bites. I think there's there's opportunity all over the place, and people are not nearly as familiar with Stronghold and TerraWolf and Cypher. And, it becomes evident to me the kind of the pecking order just in popularity, because just based on, if I put out a Marathon or a Riot video, it's going to get 3 times as many views or 4 times as many views as a Cypher video. So that's just, Cypher hasn't reached that level of investor awareness yet. And they are newer, and they really just started getting up and running a few months ago. But having said that, when they got going, they got going. So I think they finished in 5th place in January of the number of Bitcoin mined out of all the publicly traded Bitcoin mining companies. So, they're real deal. Brent said, good point, Darren. I have friends in Canada with the same problems accessing some uranium stocks. Born in Canada myself, but no longer there. Michael Anthony is saying, so the best 2 are Mara, then Riot, then who is 3rd? So I'm not saying that, for me, I don't think those are the best 2. Those are the biggest 2. They're the biggest 2 by market cap, and it's not even close. Marathon is the biggest by trading volume, and it's not even close. But I put my top 8 list out on, and they're both, I think Riot actually was number 1 on my top 8 lists, and I think Marathon was number 5. So they're both in my top 8. And that list will change over time as we see companies execute in the year 2022, right? The landscape is going to change. Some people are going to be on plan and move ahead. Others won't. So, you got to be flexible. I like CleanSpark a lot. That's one of my high conviction plays. But some people don't like their business model. Some people, and I had a poll, and it's a lot more people than I expected. Like 40% of the people don't even consider them a Bitcoin miner. And that is a very small sample group. That was on 100 people voting on a poll in a live stream. But they were saying they believe that if anybody who just sells their Bitcoin isn't even really technically a Bitcoin miner. So make of that whatever you will. But what that means, obviously, is there are a lot of people that are not big on CleanSpark. Having said that, there's a lot of people that's their favorite company. So I guess, that's, you got a lot of different methods to choose from, because all of these companies have different strategies on how to get where they're going. Darren said Riot is the best, and it's not close. Then CleanSpark. So that's not financial advice, but that is Darren's opinion. Gary, Bitfarms and CleanSpark were only 10% of Marathon's market cap this year. Now both are 25%, so they are gaining in market share. Yeah, that's fair. And and just objectively speaking, from an operational standpoint, CleanSpark and Bitfarms had the best monthly operational reports in the year of 2022. Whether you want to put one in first and the other one in second, I don't care. They both operated at full capacity, all cylinders for the entire year, and they mined for most of the year. Both of those companies mined more Bitcoin than Marathon and Riot, even though Marathon and Riot are much bigger companies. So, that's only one way to measure this, and that's probably a temporary situation. I think that Marathon and Riot have now reached a level of maturity where they're going to start posting numbers that, Bitfarms is no longer going to be able to compete with. But almost every month of the year last year, Bitfarms did, outproduce all those companies. So there's a reason they gained in market cap. And everybody, it's almost who lost less, because everybody went down so much in market cap that, these are all still just these are all down. I don't think there's one that's yet to reach 75% down from their highs of 2021. I believe they're all still down more than that. Most of them are still down between 85 and 90%. Some of them are even still down more than 90%. So, there's been a big run in a lot of these, but, by no means do I think it's over. Brent said Marathon's been 40% plus short interest for some time. I don't get how that is still the case. So, and that could be a gigantic catalyst, because at some point, if and when Marathon starts putting out production numbers that they're mining 1,000 Bitcoin a month, and they're at 12 exahash and 15 exahash, that will get, I would imagine, if and when that happens, that's going to get undone, because the shorts are going to get toasted on that. But I think there's enough people that believe Marathon's not going to make that happen, and they're gambling. So I don't like to short stocks. It's scares me. It's just territory I don't go into. But I know a lot of people do. I mean, I will buy puts, because that's a more controlled way to, play the downside. But I don't short stocks. Gary said, even with dilution, CleanSpark is far outperforming Marathon over the last year. Darren said, I think CleanSpark lagging in stock performance is more based on the stock still coupling the NASDAQ. Once it decouples, it'll look differently. Thoughts on that? I think that the first thing is CleanSpark. Now, if you measure it from their January of 2021, that's their all-time high. CleanSpark was a $40 stock, but I dismiss that. I think they got to maybe $26 in November of 2021. There was a bubble in small cap high growth stocks. I mean, they weren't even really a Bitcoin mining company at that point. Yes, technically they had mined 20 or 30 Bitcoin in total as a company, but that's not what they did. They were a microgrid company at that point, and they got to $40. $26, I believe, was their high in November of 2021, which is when Bitcoin hit its all-time high. So they're still down like 75% off of that, but they did not pull back from their high. They did not pull back quite as much as everybody else did. So they didn't have as much ground to make up, and I think that's one of the reasons they're moving slower. I also do think they're absolutely lagging. I think they're very, it's my opinion, they're very undervalued. That's why it's one of my bigger positions. But like I said, I mean, on my little poll, which is by no means representative of the greater population, but 40% of the people said they don't even consider CleanSpark a Bitcoin miner. So I will just tell you, to me, that doesn't make sense. But that's what people think. Gary said, yes, look at both companies in 2021 peaks. Easy CleanSpark is doing better. Right. Yeah. I mean, they didn't fall as hard, so, they're not going to run back as hard, but they do have still, they still, to me, should be 2x, 3x, 4x, 5x, whatever the case may be. DEFCON said CleanSpark went to $40 when it wasn't a Bitcoin miner. So, that's right. And technically, I said that once, and somebody called me out, and they showed that, they had actually mined 20 Bitcoin by then. And it's like, yes. So they had just bought their first Bitcoin mining facility. They had not yet even begun to barely dabble in Bitcoin at that point. They ran up $40 on their essentially pre-revenue. That was when small cap high growth stocks were just going to the sky. That bubble popped hard in February, March, April of 2021. But they did get that run up, and it really didn't have anything to do with Bitcoin. Corey's saying, did I miss Bitfarms? So, I can't answer that for you. In my opinion, Bitfarms is still ridiculously underpriced. But it's been very stubborn, hanging around $1, which that baffles me. So I think it's due for a run out, and I think if Bitcoin has this breakout above 25, I think a lot of these things are going to have some of their run. If we can get above this 25,000 and start to have this run up to 29, I believe we're going to have big, big, big moves in the Bitcoin miners. But I think until we break through this 25, the market is skeptical. and they're not going to get the rest of the big. They just got big run-ups. So all these Bitcoin miners are up pretty big in 2023. But I think the investor is waiting for the next big run-up. They want to see that $25,000 mark broken. Tim said, LOL, Marathon went to 150 when it was a patent company. That's right. I mean, remember, Marathon, they were Marathon Patent Group until just, I don't know, time flies. Maybe it was longer ago than I think, but they're fairly new to Bitcoin. If I'm remembering correctly, in January of 2021, they were at 0.1 exahash. So that was 2 full years ago, but you know, they were just now. Having said that, they were early. They committed. They got purchase orders for 13 exahash worth of Bitcoin mining machines first before anybody. So while they didn't actually have them and they weren't mining them, they did, you know, put down huge deposits and order a massive amount of Bitcoin machines. You know, they were first to the punch on that. Tim said Bitfarms outperforms RIOT Riot and CleanSpark in gains in 2023. So maybe not that undervalued compared to the rest. Yeah, I mean, and I think most of the good ones are still undervalued to the point where there's a lot of room left to run for the companies that succeed, in my opinion. And I mean, over the years, I'm talking 5X's or more. That's my personal belief. But I am bullish on Bitcoin, and I do think that, you know, we will get to 50,000, and then we'll get to, you know, 100,000. And I don't know if that's going to take a year and a half or 3 years or whatever the case may be. But I'm bullish on Bitcoin in the long term. Darren said, months ago, I said we should all buy at least small portions in every miner because some will run from nowhere and outweigh the loss on the ones that on the one loss. I stand by that statement 100%. So, yes, if you would have just bought everything in December, you'd be up huge right now. So, question is, when do you get out of some of them? Because I don't know if all these runs will last, but it's been pretty much across the board. You'd have won on almost everything over the last 2 months. Tim said, agreed. They are undervalued. Just comparing, they have a 5x to 20x ahead of them. At least the top 5 to 10 do. Yeah, I mean, that's what I think. And you're right. You know, it's when's it going to be a 5x? When's it going to be a 20x? And the thing is, you know, Tim is saying that, and I agree with it. And for most industries in the stock market, you're just not going to get that. That's the risk-reward part of being in the Bitcoin miners. And obviously in 2022, it was extremely painful. It was all risk and no reward. But yeah, you know, there's a bunch of these companies that could 5x, they could 20x. I mean, these are not unreasonable 3 to 5 year price targets, in my opinion. Robert said that is the most stupid thing, a Bitcoin miner not considered a Bitcoin miner. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't agree. I understand what they're saying. They're saying they're just a fiat company. They're just passing the Bitcoin through. They're not committed to Bitcoin. So I guess those are people that think the Bitcoin miners should be hodling. And, you know, CleanSpark so far has not done a lot of that. They keep a small balance on hand, but, you know, they have not had a hodl strategy. They've had an expansion strategy. So Gary said, I think I think CleanSpark is the most undervalued Bitcoin miner today. So I wouldn't argue that. There's so many that are undervalued that I think are going to have nice runs, but I put CleanSpark in that group. I think they're going to have a big run. I can just tell you guys that on the top of my list up here, I think these are the companies that are most likely to have big runs. But these are the newer companies. Some of these are going to have even bigger runs only because they're nano cap stocks right now. So, for Riot to 10x, they got to go from $1 billion to $10 billion. For, Mawson to 10x, maybe they got to go from $20 million to $200 million or whatever the case may be. So you can see it's a lot easier for them to make that happen as a nano cap stock. Michael Anthony said Coin has doubled from $31, which also insiders are buying shares. So yeah, Coin was a big beneficiary of this, whether you want to call it a relief rally or whatever you want to call it. The cryptocurrency has rallied huge in 2023 so far. So, knock on wood, hopefully it keeps going, but it's been, can't complain. And Coinbase tends to go along that same ride with them. So, all right, unless anybody else has any other thoughts or questions, I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you so much. Thanks everybody again for liking, for subscribing. Thank you to all the members for being a member. Much appreciated. Thanks for all the comments. That helps the channel a lot. So I appreciate you guys leaving comments and hopefully productive comments. There are a select few that sometimes don't play nice in the comments section, but that is the very small minority. So thank you everybody else for thoughtful comments, and I appreciate everybody. Have a great weekend, and I definitely have some videos planned for the weekend. So I don't think I'll do a live stream unless Bitcoin takes off, and then maybe I'll do an impromptu live stream. So otherwise, everybody, please enjoy your weekend, and thank you so much, and have a great night.